Welcome. My name is Jason Grillo with AirMiners, and it's a real pleasure to see you all here in a full holiday form for our third Carby celebration. Got a few remarks that I'm going to tell today. Got Marcus Extavor queued up to provide some of his comments to us as a group. But I wanted to say a few things about the meaning of our community and how AirMiners itself has progressed over the course of the last 12 months. It's at pains a bit to figure out, what is it that kind of binds us together as a community? Is it the fact that, we're all on this mission in AirMiners, our mission to remove in AirMiners a gigaton of carbon dioxide equivalent cumulatively by the end of 2030? Is it the practice of entrepreneurship? A lot of different things could bring us together, but to me, it's this real dedication to make others better, better at what they do, better as they, get to where they want to go. That's a hallmark of our culture, and that leads to kind of this, fun, light, fun, breezy attitude, the ability to, take a really ambitious target and face it with a smile and assist others as we do so. I mean, look, everyone I've encountered in AirMiners is all that, smart and enterprising, and it's been a real privilege, I have to say, to be able to work with each and every one of you over the last year and over the last few years. Especially grateful to be able to work with Tito on getting the community to where it is. And, we have a wonderful teammate in Adina Mangubat. Adina, want to say hello? Hello, who joined the team just this past year to really take the Launchpad program to new levels that we couldn't even have anticipated. So thank you, Adina. Thank you, Tito, for all your efforts and support and leading AirMiners. So for where we're going to go for the rest of the event today, I'm going to shut up, which is a good thing. And you're going to have some remarks by Marcus Extavor. And then each of you is going to, if people want to, tell stories, Tito is going to share maybe again the list of people in the order that we're going to talk through how the story that you're going to tell. After you do each story, we're going to award a thanks a ton Carby, hey, so that we can contribute to removing carbon through any one of 6 different methods that are available through Thanks a Ton. Thank you to Laura Katayama, by the way. Laura, hello, there you go. And the Thanks a Ton team for being the go-between here. And the idea is that due to very generous anonymous donation to AirMiners, we're able to do this so that we can have a donation for thanks a ton in your name. And if you name someone who you're particularly grateful for, we will also match a donation in their name as well. And we'll tell you the method of one of the 6 carbon removal programs that Thanks a Ton has available once you're through. So we have a very tight program today, and we have maybe 3 minutes, maybe less. If you have signed up to do a story and you have to leave at the top of the hour, please let us know so that we can maybe scoot you in before that comes to pass so that you can tell your story. Note, we are recording this. You might have not heard that during the musical interlude, but this event is being recorded. We are going to post it on our YouTube channel, and it will live forever in the halls of AirMiners. So thanks everyone for a wonderful year in carbon removal. Thanks again for a wonderful year in AirMiners. And once again, I'm just grateful that we're on the journey together to get the carbon removal practice worldwide through any method up and running to where it is today and beyond. So with that, I'm going to share my screen yet again, and I will get the video from Marcus Extavor teed up. Whoop. And just give me a second. Sharing sound as well. Let me know if you, let me know if this, there we go. Here we go. Here comes Marcus. Let me know if there are problems.
What's up, Carbys? This is Marcus here. I'm thrilled to be part of this year's Carbys. I remember being at the very first one. It was a blast. So shout outs for AirMiners, Tito, Jason, and the whole crew for pulling it together. I wanted to just offer a couple of remarks and a quick story as I think back. It's that time of year we're kind of making our listicles and thinking back on the time of the year and what the year was and what next year might be. So a couple of carbon removal highlights for me this year, and then I'll share a quick story of something that happened to me just recently. So this was, I think, by any measure, a real bumper year. More than I would have ever imagined, more than maybe a lot of us imagined. Maybe some people really predicted this or knew this, but I definitely am not one of them. But I've been pleasantly surprised and really just trying to be along for the ride. So I remember Frontier launched this year, a $1 billion advanced market commitment, massive. This was in April. Same month, Lower Carbon Capital announced a $300 million venture fund focused exclusively on carbon removal. That still is eye-popping to me and incredible. Shout out to everybody who made that happen. X Prize announced our milestone winners also in April. So congrats to all the companies we got a chance to work with and still do, and many others. But it wasn't just an April thing. The news sort of continued trickling out through the year, but a couple of other big ones. First of all, a ton of companies formed, accelerated, grew, stretched out. And so I want to recognize a ton of people in the AirMiners community for doing that, leading that, making that happen, being part of it one way or the other. This is one of the best things about this community, I think. But a couple of other things happened that were big, and maybe so big we haven't even quite digested what they are for this community and our field and carbon removal generally. One is, and I'm going to get just wonky for a second because I used to work in Washington. One of these things is the infrastructure bill, which devotes a ton of federal spending and support towards carbon removal of various types. And the other is the Inflation Reduction Act. You all heard a lot about this, and I'm not going to go into the weeds. So the Inflation Reduction Act is going to be a big wind, a big tailwind for carbon removal. I think it already is. The buzz is out there. But I have a small personal story to share, and I'll close on this before I wish everybody a great Carbys. So I got a chance to go to COP27. Oh, by the way, speaking of COP27, another sort of massive turnout for the carbon removal topic. Conversations, panels, discussions, way more than any COP I've been a part of. Okay, but I'm at COP27. I'm in Sharm el Sheikh. I'm rationing my food and water. Not really, but a little bit. It was a little dry and thirsty there. Anyway, and I text a friend out of it just occurs to me, let me text Adrian and see if he's coming here because I know he works in DC and there's a chance he's coming to COP. Hey, Adrian, what's up? Are you coming to COP? He says, yes, I'm actually just arriving tomorrow. And I'm going to be there for a few days. Let's meet up. Great. So he texted me when he arrived. He's like, we just got off the plane. We're coming straight to the Blue Zone. Where should we meet? And we get a chance to meet. And so this, he and I were just kind of connecting as old friends. He and I worked in the Senate in DC at the same time. He was working for one senator. I was working for another in a committee. And, we'd just hang out all the time. And actually used to go to his house and mess around with Moog synthesizers. Anyway, I want to say his name, Adrian Devaney, because this is really important. So he and I are just catching up. And then I kind of later remember what he actually does for a living. He works for Senator Chuck Schumer. Guess who worked the deal to put the Inflation Reduction Act together? Senator Schumer. Guess who did the heavy lifting to actually draft the policy, do the negotiations behind the scenes, do all the running around of Capitol Hill to make this kind of stuff happen? Adrian Devaney. So I had this amazing moment where I'm just chatting with, at first, just an old buddy, but then I'm remembering oh, wait a minute, Adrian, you're actually at the center of this. And I remember saying to him, I don't want to be too corny, Adrian, but thank you for doing this. I know you put a lot of work into that. I got a glimpse of what that kind of stuff takes, and I know you're still at it. Now, he's an example of, I don't think he's even on AirMiners, and most people don't even know who he is. And he's just a regular, down-to-earth, interesting and cool guy. But it's regular people like this that are staying committed, staying dedicated, and in this case, achieving massive wins and positive impact, not just for our community, but for carbon removals everywhere and the climate agenda in general. So shout out to Adrian Devaney. If you see this or you hear about this, I hope you're great. I hope you have a fantastic holiday. And to everybody else in AirMiners and here with us today, have a wonderful Carbys. I can't wait to hear what the other stories are. And this is Marcus signing off. Take care, everybody.
Right. Thank you, Marcus. So with that, we are actually, Tito, Marcus's Carby is awarded to which of the methods?
Living carbon.
Living carbon. All right. All right. Cool. So next we're going to start. Let's see. Is Victor here? No. Okay. Victor is not here, unfortunately. But that means we can go to Julia.
Yay. Okay. Can you hear me?
All good.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Yay. Hi, I'm Julia. I've been a part of AirMiners for about 2 years now. And the first Carbys was actually what got me curious about the community, just because it was such a fun event and everyone was so happy and friendly. And little background about me, I helped set up AirMiners BootUp. I helped with the last AirMiners conference. And I think this past year, I haven't done as much directly in the carbon removal community, at least not compared to the previous year. But I think one thing that I did want to share about that was really big for me was I took a lot of time to travel, and I'm figuring out what I want to do, if I even want to be working specifically in carbon removal or want to somehow suck it into some other thing that I'm going to do in the future. And in all of my travels, I actually got to meet a lot of AirMiners in person, and many of them let me crash either on their siblings' bed or on their couches. And it was just so wonderful to actually meet these people in real life and get to know them. And everyone is just as amazing and just as dynamic as they are over Zoom. And yeah, I had to write down the names because it's a kind of a long list, and I want them all to get a thanks a ton card. That is something I have been doing a little bit in the past few months, I guess the past year, helping out with thanks a ton here and there. And I guess to preface all of these people that I've met, one thing that I think reiterates what Jason was saying is that I found that all the people in the community, I've felt that they've really cared about me as a person, even if I have been feeling lost and unsure about or burnt out or completely in over my head over climate catastrophe and catastrophizing, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where my role is, what my place is. And even if I've had doubts on like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this specifically, whether it's like, go back to grad school, go study psychology, go do this, go do that. It doesn't have to be this. I very much felt the support of me as a human 360 degrees, not just as a climate conscious person. So big thank you to all the following people for that. Kara, Amalia, and Alan Maizano. Kara's kids are amazing. They're wonderful humans. They're going to do great things in this world. I can't wait. Christian Gooch, Max Phillips, Fabian Nilsson, John L. Sanchez, Tito Jankowski. I was so excited to finally meet John and Tito in person after having worked with them for so long in BootUp. And if anyone is wondering, John is just as much of a goofball in person as he is over Slack. And thank you, Tito, specifically for all the more challenging conversations we've had on climate and just the human condition in general. I really appreciate that. Alita Melzi, Jason, Landon Brand, Jonathan McQueen. So Landon I actually know since we were 5. So it was really exciting first joining AirMiners community and being like, hey, I know that kid. We shared all of our classroom birthdays together from ages 5 to 11. So it was really nice to sort of feel that tie coming back together. Yeah, and then haven't met in person, but I hope to soon. Laura Katayama, Shawan Montoya Lavender, Erin Pacey, and Lori, thank you as well for taking the time this summer and talking me through things. You're awesome. Yeah, this is a great community, and I'm very thankful to have stumbled into the Carbys, 2 years ago? So yeah, I'm glad everyone's here.
Great, thanks, Julia. I should also note that in late May, we kind of crossed the streams here, and after working together for just over 2 years, I met Tito for the first time in person, and John Sanchez as well, and Adina Mangubat. Actually, interestingly, the first person in AirMiners I ever met in real life was Mike Robinson, who I'd had the opportunity to meet up with a few weeks prior in Seattle. So yeah, so there you have it. All right, next up, Victor just got into the meeting. So Victor, we're gonna have to really move here to share stories. So I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity. So we're gonna go to 2 minutes each, okay? Victor, go for it.
Thanks for that. Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many Carbys on my small screen. Good thing is that it's not that late right now for me because I'm talking from Budapest, Hungary. It's just about 7 p.m. here. Funny thing is, last time I was looking at so many Carbys faces when I was part of the AirMiners BootUp. I usually had to sign in at around 1 a.m. for me during the night. Guess what? I missed the timing for when I signed up. I got so confused by the times that I thought, okay, afternoon after work, it's gonna be good for me. Well, I signed up for a late night course, and I thought, okay, this is a challenge. This is a challenge for myself. I'll come for 6 weeks every night for this. And funny thing is that my BootUp course mates knew, oh, hey, hell yeah, Ben. I see Ben who's here on the Carbys. He saw my face. Perhaps the face that he saw was a bit more tired looking, washed up face whenever we talked. But yeah, I enjoyed it very much. The 6 weeks with the AirMiners BootUp crew, and I think some things actually stayed in my head, so it was useful. I was able to perform during the night and grasp all that valuable information, even though I quite missed some valuable information about the time. However, it worked out well. Nice experience. Thank you for everyone who is part of that and made that possible.
Thanks, Victor. Okay, cool. Next, and good to see some BootUp reconnection here. Jack.
Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. I'm Jack Sullivan, and I'm honored to greet you today during Carbys. It's my third one, and I'm just excited to be here and got my Christmas tree in the background representing. So I typed up a few brief thoughts about resilience and community. So let me go ahead and read them real quick. As entrepreneurs, we all need to develop resilience in ourselves and in our organizations. Things won't always go as planned. They never do. Being able to stay calm and evaluate and course correct is an important and learnable skill. We all face difficult moments, often when we least expect them. In August, I lost my technical co-founder for Red Carbon. Then my mother and best friend passed away shortly thereafter, all unexpectedly. So it derailed me a little bit and threw me off my rails a little bit. But in the back of my mind, through it all, was a clear desire to refocus back on Red Carbon and to do my part to help solve our problem. I was reminded it's not who we are underneath that defines us, it's what we do, which is a quote I read when I was younger, and it's always stuck with me. Jane Goodall uses a similar sentiment, suggesting we inspire hope through action. In my opinion, resilience can be defined as thoughtful action under difficult circumstances through which we can all inspire hope. AirMiners is where I come to pursue thoughtful action. All of our actions build resilience in ourselves and inspire hope in others. During this holiday season, I want to express thanks to all those here who inspire me and give me hope. Thank you, all of you. The list is too long to rattle off names, so I won't even try, especially with our 2-minute limit. Suffice it to say that if you're here, part of the community, and you're thoughtfully pursuing action, you are inspiring hope, others and in me. When you get bummed out, remember there really is something to be said about lifting each other up. We celebrate our cumulative accomplishments, and we all do, we really do. I'm here to celebrate you today. I wish you and your families a joyous holiday season, and to say I look forward to re-engaging you all in the new year. And again, happy holiday. Thank you, Jason, Tito, for the time.
Jack, thank you. That was a extremely inspiring story, I found, and hope others did as well. Next up, Brooke.
So hi everyone, my name is Brooke. I'm the Communications and Development Manager for Excel Aerosystems. And this story is basically my takeaways of lessons from the past year. We're a new startup, only been around a year and a half. So we've of course been facing several challenges as we come to learn what's required of us and how to succeed. You know, learning how to start a startup in the first place, understanding what we need to know about our tech, finding answers to hard questions, and especially not buckling under the weight of discouragement when you don't know the answers, or when you hear something's impossible. And then it seems you would assume that you hear a lot of no's, but I find that you actually hear a lot more not yet. So like you're too early or we're not ready yet. And you hear those, but what you really need to hear in that moment is a yes. And so it's all about how you persevere against those obstacles. And I have a background in creative writing, and I have a manuscript that's been in progress for years. So kind of managing a startup business reminds me a lot about writing a manuscript. And the first draft is easy, but then you get into the revisions and you start reviewing everything and you realize that there's so many flaws and especially plot holes that now it's your job to fill in. And so figuring out the answers to the questions reminds me a lot about creative writing in that process. And then on top of it, you know, there's personal struggles that interfere with your professional life. And I really want to commend our founder, Crystal Kyumju, for her resiliency over the past year. You know, she's in the dirt facing the technical obstacles every day, fighting the odds, but she keeps going, and it's especially inspiring to me. And I've also greatly learned the power and the strategy of connectivity through AirMiners and beyond. You know, when we started in AirMiners in batch 4, that led me into a new position with the company where I was now focusing on helping our business grow. And a startup needs support to survive. And the customers that we're trying to reach are especially difficult to connect with. But slowly and steadily, we've been learning how to crack that barrier between us and the heavyweights within aviation. And I've learned too how you can wield your sword on LinkedIn if you know how to do it correctly, but that in-person handshakes are absolutely invaluable. So my advice to anyone starting a startup from this point would be 1, go to a conference, and 2, if you're in carbon capture, to join AirMiners.
Thank you, Brooke. Next up, we have an ode to AirMiners from Mr. Jake Harrison.
All right, thanks very much. So I guess I'm in a lifelong project in embarrassing my family, and they were super embarrassed when I told them that there was a video on YouTube of me reciting a limerick. So I want to just share another one. I can't believe this is what I'm going to be known for in this community, but so be it. But so,
all good,
okay.
all good. We're all about being vulnerable here. Safe space.
All right, so this is 5 limericks in a row, so beware. Okay. The AirMiners Carbys event asks of 22, how was it spent? Did we grow? Did we learn? Did we build? Did we earn? Let's recollect how time was spent. As the Keelan curve started to flatten, were you climate marching in Manhattan? Or did more record warms and tropical storms have you looking for hatches to batten? Through ventures, funds, and tech creations, through policies and regulations, we'll build the solution to carbon pollution, air mining our way toward salvation. Let's celebrate wonderful feats, share the stories, both sours and sweets. As 22 ends, we gather with friends at the Carbys where AirMiners meet. The year 2022 will soon enough fade in the rear view. AirMiners take heart, and today be a part of the Carbys, a time to say thank you. So, thank you. And I just like to add that it's very similar to Julia. I spent a ton of time on the Slack channel and interacting with BootUps and problem packs in 2021. This year, I focused on some different efforts, but I was really happy to meet some people in person. So I wanted to thank Varun Tandon and Marcelo Lejeune for meeting me in person, which was really terrific. And they're both doing amazing stuff. If they're not on the call, I certainly acknowledge them. So thanks, everyone.
Great. Thanks, Jake. Okay, Lori.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk today, excuse me, because I get to talk about all of you all of the time, and I wanted you to get this feedback. I hang out with climate founders and people who want to work on climate and investors, and I poke around in AirMiners a lot because taking carbon out of the air is the #1 most important thing that I push people who don't know where they want to go. I push them into this because we have to do it now. And I tell your stories to people, and it spreads hope. And I want you to know that because it's really important that you keep doing what you're doing. And thank you to all of you who I see, who I recognize, who I'm not going to take the time to name. And I can't wait to meet the rest of you. And Jake, that was awesome and a hard thing to follow up.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Next up is someone who predates quite a few people here on the call, Mr. Grant Faber.
Yeah, hey everyone. Yeah, I actually prepared a few remarks here, so I'm gonna read these. So yeah, everyone, my name's Grant Faber. I've been in AirMiners for about 3.5 years now. It's been amazing to see the community grow as much as it has, and I'm very excited to see just how far we'll go in the coming years. We definitely have a lot to be grateful for in this past year in terms of new people joining our community, billions of dollars of public and private capital rushing into the space, founders taking huge risks, and other people and companies enabling the ecosystem to become larger and more resilient. I just wanted to give some quick encouragement and inspiration to those attending today to, as Tito says in most of his newsletters, hit reply. So when I trace my steps for basically anything I've accomplished in carbon removal or anything I've done over the past couple of years, it always really starts with some kind of like random connection where I or someone else chose to engage rather than not engage. And these kinds of choices can lead to connections that might connect you to another person or resource or idea that then drives further connections, that drive further connections and so forth in this huge virtuous cycle. So while meeting just like one new person or attending just one new event might seem kind of inconsequential in the moment, it could really completely change your life. And this can also be true when you go out of your way to connect to someone else, you meet with another person or resource that you think they could greatly benefit from. And now, one could argue, oh, time is money and so forth, but, and so, we have limited time to spend on that kind of stuff. But frankly, we take calculated risks with our money and capital to make things happen. And therefore we should really be doing the same with our time. Willing to do the same with our time. So yeah, AirMiners is really the perfect place for these kinds of encounters, but it can really only work if you choose to engage and hit reply. So you can do that through sharing that article, messaging that person, leaving that comment, or attending that networking session. If the reason you don't do those things is because of like this little doubt in your mind that it might not be worthwhile to engage, I would really invite you to try to override that doubt and to try to put yourself out there, as you have great things to offer to the community, and the community has great things to offer to you. Human connection is really the only shot we have at truly truly solving our problem and removing gigatons of carbon from the air. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who makes AirMiners such a special, empathetic, and impactful network. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. I'm gonna switch things around a little bit. Friedel Pretorius, if you are available, feel free to.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Friedel. I lead the MRV topic at Climeworks. This is my first Carby, and everyone's messages thus far have been super inspiring. I've been in this space for about a year now, and my past year at Climeworks has been super exciting. We wrote a methodology along with our partners CarbFix to quantify the CDR we produce at our plant Orca in Iceland. And we also partnered with DNV, world leader in quality assurance, to certify the tons we produce at are according to that methodology and ISO standards. And now with all these certified tons that we've produced, my reflection for the year is, what is a ton of CDR, right? Climeworks has defined what a ton of Climeworks CDR is, and others in the CDR space have defined what a ton of their company's CDR is. But as of today, we have no standard to provide a fungible definition of a ton of CDR. And what a ton means in terms of durability, and baseline, and additionality, and all those metrics. So with that, I welcome 2023 to be all about getting standards in the removals community and joining all the lovely people here in making that happen with integrity and high quality and do the thing we all came out to stand here for, right? And yeah, just want to say thanks a ton to everyone here. This is a super inspiring space.
And you will literally be thanking a ton momentarily here. Great. Next up, we have Arti Asundi.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is actually my first Carbys. I've been part of the AirMiners community for a couple of years now, but I'm super excited to be here and be able to share a big milestone that happened for me with my company. So my company is called SciComm. I do science communications for tech companies. I specialize in making animated videos, but I also do like science writing and help with websites and illustrations and pretty much anything that can help get your science across to the audience that you need it to be, whether that's investors or potential business partners or just general consumers. And I met somebody on the AirMiners Slack channel named Manu Pillai. He reached out to me and he's the founder of Carbon Bridge. And I think he was actually part of the AirMiners Launchpad program for his startup. And he reached out to me saying he needed some help with his science communications, and we worked on a video together. And then after that, he really liked my illustration style. And so he asked if he could use some of my illustrations in a pitch that he was giving at a demo day at a university. So I helped him with his pitch deck as well. And then he was like, you know, we have a lot of things we need help with, actually. Like, we need help with our website. I want to make another pitch deck that's more geared towards investors. Could you help with that? And so what we ended up doing was basically he put me on retainer for his company, which worked out really well for both of us. It's a huge milestone for me because having a company on retainer that keeps coming back to me every month really gives me a lot of stability and helps my company grow. And then having me on his team is great because he doesn't have to hire like a full-on head of marketing. He can just have me on retainer for a few hours or a couple of hours every month. And, you know, he can increase or decrease that according to his need. And I can help him with whatever he needs help with. And so it's a really big win for the both of us. And I hope that we can continue to both grow together, that I can help him with his communication and help his company grow. And he, of course, is helping my company grow a huge amount. So that would not have happened without AirMiners. And I actually got to meet Manu at one of the in-person events that AirMiners held. I think in Santa Clara or Menlo Park or something. So that was really great. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to continuing to be part of this community and helping the tech finders I meet here.
All right. Thank you, Arti. Next up, Bream.
Hello, everyone. Hey, can you see me? Yeah. Hi, everyone. So yeah, cool to be here. I'm a big fan of AirMiners. This is my second Carbys. I'm taking all that AirMiners has to offer with the full option. So I did the BootUp in 2021 and the Launchpad. We were part of the Launchpad batch 4 also this year. So I recognize some of you. So I think AirMiners is continuing to be a very transformative contribution to whatever we do, myself and as a company. So thanks a lot for all of this. Yeah, personal story maybe on this occasion I can share is that I met one of my co-founders on the AirMiners BootUp, but things in life change from time to time. So well, we were three initially, and then he decided to, after finishing his thesis, that his contribution to the fight against climate change was better in a different place, and decided to leave the project to do something else. So it was a kind of disappointment, but it was also a mutual decision, because that was the best way. We found out that everyone does what they like the best. He's continuing to be a contributor in the removal of carbon, because he will do advocacy for the cause. So we're still going to be friends and colleagues, but these things happen. We're two now, but we're alive and kicking, and it's all good. But I wanted to share this. Things are not always smooth, and as many of you mentioned, it's good to be resilient and to have and to make the options that make the best sense for everyone. And sometimes it's tough, but you need to go for it. And finally, I'd like to give an award to, I think, the only person that I met in person so I met with lots of you over Zoom, but I'm based in Europe. So Victor, I don't know if you remember, but we had a coffee in Zurich because we were at a Climeworks conference, and we visited, I think, a site. So I wanted to give you a thanks a ton for having met me in person in the previous year. And I hope I can meet many more of you in the next few months and years. So thanks a lot.
Right. Thanks, Kareem. Jen Wagner.
Hey, folks. I don't have a fancy speech prepared or anything, but just wanted to say thank you to all, especially Jason and Tito and Adina, for the opportunity to work with some of the Launchpad graduates. So that's been something that I've been working on lately, is sort of trying to give back to especially female founders who are earlier on in their career, focused on carbon removal. And that's been a lot of fun and actually really rewarding, and really inspired by the work that many of you all are doing. Sort of a personal story for me is this year was kind of a big deal where I transitioned careers. So formerly with Carbon Cure, had been there for 12 years and felt like it was time for a change, and started kind of looking around and wasn't even sure if there was anything out there for me, but have landed at Breakthrough Energy in their fellows program. And that's also been a wonderful opportunity to work on some other earlier stage climate technologies, some removal, some avoidance or reduction, but all good stuff. So very grateful for that opportunity and the sort of opportunity to mentor some of these female founders. So I think for me, looking forward, like I'm very hopeful and inspired by what the future holds, and think that, we don't got this, but we're getting closer to making a lot of meaningful progress on climate. So feeling quite inspired. And I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but if you can give your thanks a ton to someone, I'd like to name it for the 3 female founders that I'm working with as part of the fellowship program. So Anka, Molly, and Sarah. So I'll leave that. Thanks.
All right. Cool. And thanks, Jen. And we'll send thanks ton cards to each of the 3 of them. Ruja, your turn.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Sorry for my background noise. I'm outside.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Roja Wen, and I'm one of the co-founders at Seabound, where we're building carbon capture equipment for ships. We were actually in the first AirMiners Launchpad, and I would like to say big thanks to Tito and Jason for organizing such a great program. I would also like to share a story about audacity and courage. A year ago, before starting Seabound, I had not thought that I could start a company because I believe I didn't have enough entrepreneurial experience or skills needed to be a founder. And my journey to becoming a founder was quite serendipitous. And part of it was also that I was really inspired by my co-founder Alicia's audacity and ambition. So I would really like to say thanks a ton to her as well. And looking back, sure, I wasn't 100% ready, but no one can be ever, 100% ready to start a company, and there's always much to learn, and that's okay. And I think what was important was to take that step and to just try it, because you will not know until you try. And so I often hear people saying that they are not ready for something, that they're lacking and not qualified for something. And I just wanted to share this story and hopefully inspire people to take that big leap that they might be afraid to take. Happy holidays, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Ruja. And congratulations to the successes that Seabound has seen since your founding. It's an amazing story. Next, we have Maya Kasharpabov.
Hey, Jason, thanks for the intro. Hi, everybody. My name is Maya. I'm on the business development team at Captura. I've been in the AirMiners community for around 3 years now. I kind of hang out in the background all the time and just listen to the other really cool things that other people have to say, but I've really loved learning from you all in the past. Today, I'd like to share a story of how I got into the CDR space and how one documentary led me to the CDR gig that I have today. Back in my junior year of college, I had my first intro to CDR in a documentary I watched on climate solutions. It's how I first found out about carbon removal, and it featured former carbon engineering CEO Steve Oldham. I was really amazed by the technology and really couldn't believe that I hadn't heard about it yet, and not enough people were talking about it. So kind of became obsessed with it right away and haven't really looked back since. That same night, I wrote a 4-paragraph email to him, just telling him how excited I was about the technology, how I can get involved, if they have any internships available. So sent that over, didn't hear back for a couple of weeks, but no offense taken. He's a very busy CEO. So eventually he did respond. It was about a sentence and a half saying, thanks for your interest, stay in touch, that kind of thing. So I took that at face value and just kind of try to keep going. Every year after that, I would send him another email telling him about what I'd been doing in this space, a lot of it with, the AirMiners community, and kind of updating him on where I was and, that I was still interested in becoming involved. Fast forward to a couple weeks before my graduation with my master's in climate from the Columbia University Climate School. I saw a post on LinkedIn by Steve saying that he was leaving carbon engineering and actually joining a much smaller other CDR startup. So I messaged him and asked for an intro call, and eventually finally got on the phone, and I got to actually meet him, and he told me about this new startup that he was in charge of, and 10 minutes into the call, he offered me a job, and the rest is history. All that to say, don't give up, be persistent, know your value, and keep bugging the people in your network that you look up to. Sometimes it just takes one right person to really accelerate things and make them happen for you. In terms of Captura, it's really been an awesome year for us. We were one of the X Prize Milestone Award winners among a variety of other really incredible companies. And just earlier today, Frontier announced that we were selected as one of 7 of the companies that they are doing a pre-purchase cycle with. So we're really excited to have their expert team validate the credibility of our ocean-based approach. All in all, my team and I at Captura are really thrilled for what's to come in 2023. So I'd like to give my Carby today to my awesome boss, Steve Oldham, who I look up to very much. He's everything that I've hoped for in a boss and a CDR company. So I'm really thrilled about my CDR gig, and thank you everybody for being here today.
All right, thank you. And if anyone needs to if any of the people who are lined up to speak need to leave at the top of the hour, let Tito or I know. We'll probably keep it rolling here after, just make sure everyone has a chance to speak. But if you have to dash off after 60 minutes in, please let us know, because we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to speak, and we don't want to have you just crowded out just because you can't be here for the whole time. Next up is Alex. Alex, for whom it is an extraordinarily early hour of the morning.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. I wanted to spend this time to talk about, I guess, the community and motivation. So this year was big for me. I joined the AirMiners looking to get involved in carbon dioxide removal, and just followed along, joined AirMiners events, went through the BootUp, and then eventually the Launchpad. And in the BootUp, there was one person that was in that group that was immediately added value. They organized us. They set up an amazing template for the slides. And had the most amazing slides when they did and presented it very well as just establishing like the top standard for the content. And that person gave me a really big nudge to really dig deep into this and not just be passive, but to really engage and to really share back. And so I think that's worth noting. So a big thank you to you, Adina, on the call. I'd like to give you the thanks a ton. And also just like on a personal side, we have like quarterly catch-ups with other members from that BootUp. And that's always something that I really look forward to and always feel super pumped afterwards, and get an extra kick of motivation to keep working on my startup. So thank you.
Woohoo! Thanks, Alex. And Adina, thank you too. Next up is Swiss.
Hello, thank you, Alex. I'm glad to hear you're staying so connected. I feel like I've gotten a little bit far away from the AirMiners community recently, but just wanted to say thanks to some folks who are outside of the community, River Recycle, the Reef Restoration Foundation. We went from having 2 pilot sites to now we have access to over 26, just because the nice folks there who want to contribute to our capacity. So always keep reaching out, always keep looking at these other industries. Sometimes your closest customer is actually your best research for manufacturing, is sometimes your best research for pilot sites. So always figure out different ways you can add value. And thank you guys for adding so much value to Skyology. Anyone who's interested in ocean-based carbon capture, let me know. I'd love to make introductions for you. Catch you guys later.
Awesome, Swiss. So is Daisy Pisty-Lin here? If not, then I think Felix said you would go in her stead.
Thanks there. Let me know if I have a decent enough connection or I can turn off my video. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you all right, Felix, please.
Okay. Yeah, hi. So I'm understudy for Daisy Pisty-Lin, my colleague. I'm speaking on behalf of We Can't Wait, a new effort to hack individual investment and philanthropy, inspiring people to invest, donate, and get involved now at the scale, scope, and speed demanded by the climate crisis. So congratulations to the whole community. Together, I feel this year we really helped capture global attention on capturing investors and philanthropists on high impact solutions by looking at startups that can quickly scale to reduce or draw down carbon emissions. And alongside their investments, we're asking investors to also donate to the nonprofit ecosystem that moves forward markets through policy advocacy, community engagement, and workforce development. So we're identifying audacious investors who will also make those donations, and our fiscal sponsor as a nonprofit is the Buckminster Fuller Institute, another big fan of AirMiners. And now we're starting ABC 23. That's audacious billions for climate restoration. So most goals, we settle for avoiding the worst consequences of what's to come. But we think human ingenuity and creativity can do a lot better. Working together, we can achieve miracles. So we're aiming to identify and bring in special group of startups, rapidly staff up, gear up, and step on the accelerator to scale their solutions in the next year. So show us what you got. For founders, we're on the lookout, especially for companies focused on carbon removal. It's to permanently sequester molecules, and we'd love to talk to you. For our investors, see wecan'twait.world for a pledge you can sign, either publicly or not, about matching your climate investing with donating. And if you think we're on to something big, we'd love your support for our team and to join us in spreading the word as volunteer advisors and networkers. So that's more at wecan'twait.world. And thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Felix. Ben Brooks.
Awesome. Loved hearing what everyone had to say so far. I don't have a specific story, but just wanted to express how grateful I am for the community so far. It's been my go-to location for professional opinions on climate tech ideas and unwavering support on wacky ideas. I just went through BootUp at the end of the summer and have been lucky enough to bounce ideas off of people like Victor, Alex and Andre, Jason and Tito. It's just been such a warm and supportive environment. Can't wait to continue engaging with everyone.
Thanks, Ben. Mike Robinson.
Thanks, Tito. Yeah, the story I was going to share is an origin story for one of my projects, which is currently called CO2 Farms, C being SEA, so an ocean-based CO2 capture. And the start of the story is actually in BootUp, which is a fantastic program. And every time I meet somebody who's serious about getting into CDR, I point them straight to BootUp first thing. In BootUp, one of my team cohort members was John, who runs Okta, and he was interested in looking at microalgae and the potential for sinking it into the mid column or some other solution. And so we started talking about that, and I started kind of advising him a bit on his startup journey. But then we started coincidentally talking to one of the professors at the University of Washington, who I was working with on another project. And she had this idea for a different way of encapsulating microalgae so that they can be harvested. In the end, John kind of fell out of the project or backed away from it, but Mari, the professor, and her postdoc have kept at it and now have funding for him to work on it for the next year and a half and see if they can figure this out. And the basic idea is that we think we can grow microalgae and be able to harvest it. So that rather than sinking it to the bottom of the sea, we can actually harvest it to get value from it and use it as fuel for BECCS and or extract valuable commodities prior to using the balance of it for fuel. So the project that wouldn't exist without that introduction that happened at BootUp, and hopefully it works out. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Mike, I also recounted the story about how you are the first air miner I ever met in person in real life. So,
and shout out to the other OG with a hat on there, Grant.
Yeah, Grant. Hat.airminers.org for those who are interested. Andre.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, thank you. It's good to see Tito having a holiday by his background. Nice to see you're enjoying the sunny weather. I'm still in outer space, as you can see. You wanted a story of audacity. In a way, I mean, my very being here is a audacious notion, because I've worked as an environmental consultant for 33 years until this year. And that's been my source of livelihood, and abandoned that to start a company to capture atmospheric CO2 and store it in and mineralize it with mining waste. And when I took Launchpad, I realized I need to find mining partners to work with me so that we can develop this process. At this point, it's just an idea. And so I started looking at mining companies, trying to identify who are the people responsible for decarbonization of their companies. And by and large, they've been non-responsive, so it's been a fruitless search. Still, I persisted. That's one good thing about Launchpad, is it keeps bringing out good energy, and it keeps pushing you, and you keep going despite setbacks. And there was a company that I decided I should approach, Equinox Gold, because I talked to the CEO 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I had the idea actually of starting a company like this, but after talking to Ross, Ross Beatty, the CEO of Equinox, I decided, no, the timing is wrong. So I decided, heck, I might as well talk to the people within this company. So I reached out to the VP for sustainability or some such, and still didn't get any response. And I thought, damn it, I'm just going to email to Ross. It seemed like an unwise decision, because you don't call up directly the CEO, the busy CEO of a large company. But I wrote him an email just saying, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Is that something your company would be interested in? And within a half hour, he writes me back. And he says, I'm at the airport. I'm flying out to Abu Dhabi in an hour to an investment meeting. Call me, right? You only got an hour. So I picked up the phone right away and hey, Ross, what's up? So we talk, and he says, I like your idea. What is it? Tell me about it. And I describe it. I'm not even pitching him or anything. I'm just saying, look, this is what I'm trying to do. He says, I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think you'll have any problems whatsoever getting any money at all. Anyway, how much money do you need? I said, well, look, this is an idea right now. I got to prove it out in the lab. So, just give me $500,000 to start with. He says, send me a business plan and I'll let you know when I come back from my trip. And we're still talking. Maybe the money is coming. It looks like it will, but this may be how my company started. Just a crapshoot of talking to the CEO who I was ill-advised in my own mind to reach out for. But what the hell? You don't lose anything if you don't try.
Yeah,
that's my story.
Great. Serendipity. You never know when it might happen. Looking for Roger Smullen or Ryan Petrov, or either of you in the audience still. If not, we'll go to Andrew Gregovich. Going once, going twice. Okay, Andrew.
Hi, Jason. Hello, AirMiners. Thank you for everything over the last 2 years. I joined in the early days of COVID, I believe, roughly like March 2020, and really found a lot of inspiration in the community, poured a lot of energy into it. I've had some really fruitful collaborations over the last couple of years that culminated in opportunity to present here in Juneau, Alaska, which is where I was born, which is where I'm starting my company. Oddly enough, town of 30,000 people, capital of Alaska. There's a lot of change happening in the state right now. So I think it's actually a really interesting time to be an entrepreneur here. There's been a huge brain drain over the last decade. A lot of the most capable people who grew up here have left to pursue opportunities in places like San Francisco, Seattle, New York. But now, a message I'd like to share with other entrepreneurs out there, or people who are thinking about joining startups, is now that we're all used to conversing over Zoom, you can build your business anywhere. And carbon it's everywhere. So I would say, know yourself, know your strengths, and understand, try to figure out where you can lean in. There's an ocean of opportunity out there, and sky's the limit. So cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Andrew. Indeed, the sky is the limit. So let's see, anyone else want to go? We've got Adina and then Tito to take us to the end. But if anyone else would like to share a story and do a thanks to Carby, now's a really good time to raise your hand, and we'll add you in. Okay, Adina.
Hello.
Go for it.
Okay, great.
Please.
I'll try and keep it short.
Oh, please.
So my journey with AirMiners began when I emailed Tito out of the blue and said, hey, can I be an entrepreneur in residence for you? And he said, sure. And since then, I really got the opportunity to dig into the accelerator that they had developed. And then a couple months after doing this, I was like, actually, I think that I'd like to do this full time. Can we do that? And he said yes. And I want to thank Tito and Jason for being a yes, and for allowing me to really run with it, because there were a bunch of things that they'd never tried before where I was like, I think we should do this. And they were like, great, let's give it a go. And one of those things was hosting the very first investor demo day, for hosting the very, very first buyers demo day. And I want to thank the teams that were the guinea pigs for that. There were 5 teams that we selected to just try stuff out with, and have them present in front of these really, important pieces of the community. And I'll thank you for allowing me to coach you. So thank you to those teams. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is like, there's a lot of investors that want to know how this space works. We should do an investor academy. And they were a yes to that too. And so I want to thank the investors that were the guinea pigs for that too. Because, we just didn't know how it was going to land for folks. So for all of the folks on the cutting edge of the experimenting with me to see what would really work, I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Thanks a ton.
Oh, thank you, Adina. It's all an experiment, really, that we're running here in AirMiners, and still lots of open space to make more experiments happen. So if you have ideas that you want to bring to light that you think could make AirMiners a better place in 2023 and beyond, we're all ears.
Yeah.
So do reach out to us, the organizing team, or just take it forward yourself. We'd love to find ways to support if we can. So anyone else want to go? If not, then I'll give the floor to Tito. Oh, new addition, Laura Katayama.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to this community. I love the AirMiners community. You've been so supportive to me as I transitioned from a 30-year career in real estate. I'm not a scientist, so some of this science is really hard for me, and a lot of you helped me. And the more I learn, the more committed I am to removing carbon dioxide from our atmosphere and our oceans. For my children, for grandchildren, for all of you, for everyone. It's just so important. We have to succeed. So thank you for welcoming me into your community and helping me learn. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, Laura, thank you for everything that you give to us. As I said at the top, I mean, yes, we're all on the mission to remove, a lot of carbon from the atmosphere, more than we can ever imagine. But really, we're in this to make each other better, and each and every one of you has made our community better. And just like I said, humbling to hear all the stories, humbling to be on the same journey with all of you. Tito, would you like to, if no one else wants to go, last chance. Although we can still fit you in even afterwards. Tito.
Hey, everybody. My Carby award goes out several years ago to Noah Deach, the founder of what was then called the Center for Carbon Removal. And I just remember the first time I met Noah, we were building what would become AirMiners. And I just remember this sense of, it was very early days in carbon removal. And there was just a sense of like, he just immediately got into it and was like, okay, here's who you should talk to. Here's who you should meet. There was no barrier of kind of explaining or him trying to, act like he knew everything was going on. He just got right into it and said, okay, great, here's how I can help you. And I even several years forward, I think that spirit really echoes in everything that I've seen in carbon removal. And so thanks to Noah for that on my behalf.
Cool. Noah, who is now in the U.S. government, actually, after getting Carbon 180, after renaming that to Carbon 180. One thing that we want to preserve as best we can AirMiners is like what you said, Tito, this notion of permeability, that it's really not that far to the frontier of, of carbon removal. To get to the state of the art is not that far a journey, and there is ample opportunity, and will be so in the future, for people to make a difference at a very profound level, because we are still in the infancy here of the carbon removal story. And AirMiner, we want to make AirMiners a place where, you can find people fairly senior at fairly well-known organizations easily, and they will respond to you and help you. We've seen that many times over the last years, and anticipate that would be the case in the future as well. So as Grant mentioned, as others have alluded to earlier in this event, don't hesitate to reach out. Always hit reply when people reach out, and keep on, because that keeps the magic flywheel operating to make everyone else better. So thank you everyone for a wonderful event, and thank you for a wonderful 2022, and the future looks extraordinarily bright for 2023.